Okay, here we go. I'm starting my personal brand channel. So, I'm Anasha. I am British Sri Lankan, so born in Sri Lanka, grew up in the UK, hence the face and the accent. But for 17 years, I've lived in rural France. Now, I do have a couple of YouTube channels. They're very small, but I wanted to do a channel where I actually showed my face and you found out a bit more about me. I only started YouTube last year when I was 53. So, what I really want to encourage people over 50, us Gen Xers, is to start your own YouTube channel. It felt a bit daunting when I first did it, but I had some help. I was in an online community where I was taught how to do it, and honestly, the most important thing is just to start. This is the first video I'm creating for my personal channel. I'm sat here in my kitchen, I'm drinking a cup of tea, and I'm just talking to the camera. But I've picked up a few things over the last 9 months since I've had my own channel, a bit of editing, etc. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to do a rough draft. I'm just going to talk to you guys out there and then edit out all the rubbish bits. So, why start a YouTube channel? I'm just going to cut to the chase. Eventually, you can get monetized, but it does take a certain amount of work. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So at the moment on this channel, I'm at 2 subscribers and maybe 2 watch hours. That's all. But on one of my other channels where I do AI videos, which at this point may turn some of you off, like nostalgic deepfake videos of people like Marilyn Monroe and Elizabeth Taylor, I have about 380 subscribers and maybe about 600 watch hours. So it just depends what sort of content you're making and how quickly you monetize. But the main reason also which I enjoy making videos is I actually do producing content. Over the years, I think it's probably at least 15 years since I've had a Facebook account. I don't mind posting things about my life. It's usually holidays and stuff. So I think having my own YouTube channel is an extension of it. We'll just see where it goes. I think, like anything, you just have to start. So, with this first channel, I'm literally just talking to the camera. It's just like a talking head. So, I don't know how it's going to turn out, how it's going to look when it's edited. But it's also quite interesting to watch the journey because there are some big YouTubers. I think many of you might have heard of Mr. Beast if you're familiar with YouTube. He started YouTube as a teenager, just showing gaming videos, and now he's a billionaire. And it's not so much about the money, but it obviously that helps. But it's very interesting to look at the evolution. You just literally put something out there, and I think this just applies to any aspect of business. If you're trying to start something new, just start because you learn so much from your mistakes. Just, just get 1% better because every time you review what you've produced, you just think, oh, yes, I'll do that better the next time. But if you try and get it perfect before you even start, you're never going to have that kind of insight into how you should improve. So, a little bit about me. How did I end up in my kitchen in France making YouTube videos in my mid 50s? So, I had quite a traditional route, went to university in London, and then I became an accountant and I worked in the city in the 1990s and very early 2000s. There was the dot-com boom and Y2K, for those of you who might remember it. I didn't even get an email address until I was 29 years old. The internet was something which I started using in my mid 20s. So when I was about 33, I quit finance. I could see my future stretching out like a Dilbert cubicle. I don't know whether any of you remember the cartoon, and I thought I don't want to do this anymore. So I retrained as an interior designer. I did that for a few years and did part-time work as an accountant to subsidize my creative side. Then in about 2005, there was the tsunami in Sri Lanka, where, as I explained, I was born. So I rented out my flat in London and went to live in Sri Lanka for about 6 months. I helped to build tsunami villages. I taught English. I also learned Sinhala as an adult, which was hard, but I wanted a connection with the place where I was born. And then I came back to the UK and I realised I couldn't really settle. And so I went to France for a long weekend and I ended up reconnecting with someone I'd been to school with. And basically, I ended up staying, and that was 17 years ago. I've heard about this book called The Second Mountain, where it talks about the second phase of your life. So I think us 50 somethings, we're too young to retire, but we've done all the traditional things, traditional career, maybe had a house, had kids who might be teenagers or grown up. Some of us might be grandparents. So really, I want to chart my journey of what's possible when you're in the second stage of your life. And the concept is the second mountain. So this is really documenting my journey, not just as a YouTuber, but is just going to be the medium where I tell you what I do. For example, I've got my AI channel. I'm still learning about it. And for those of you who are interested, I shall link it somewhere so that you can have a look. Other things, I love to travel. So since lockdown, since COVID, and everyone started working remotely, it's really possible to still make a living and travel. So this is something else which I want to explore on my channel. So that's a little summary and an introduction about me. If you have any questions, please feel free to put any questions in the comments and I will try and make some more videos which I hope you enjoy.